Hey, so today we're going to be dividing rational numbers, so dividing fractions and decimals. Same thing as multiplying, there's a slight change. First of all, if you have a negative fraction, that negative can go to the top or the bottom. I typically put it on the top, but that's just my preference. And then if both numbers have the same sign, the quotient will be positive. If they have different signs, it's negative. So same rules as if we multiply. When we divide fractions, we use what's called the reciprocal, which is pretty much just the opposite. So this is when we do keep, change, flip. So if you need to remind yourself of that, write it down. Keep, change, flip. We keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, and flip your second fraction. So we're actually using the same rules that we use with multiplying rational numbers. When we divide decimals, first of all, the first number always goes on the inside, second number on the outside, and we never want to have a decimal on the outside. So if we have that, they showed you an example where they moved the decimal over to get rid of it. But when you do that, you also have to move the decimal over on the inside as well. So we'll see an example of that later. Okay, on the next page, with the think about it, it says when you divide a negative by a negative number, the quotient is positive. Explain. Use multiplication sentence that is the inverse of a division example to show why this is true. So the reason is because division changes to multiplication. And if two numbers are negative when multiplying, you get a positive. So a positive answer. I'm going to abbreviate positive answer. And then I'm just going to write a quick example. If I have negative 1/2 divided by negative 1/2, we're going to keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. So you get negative 1 times negative 2, which is positive 2. 2 times 1, which is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So that just gives them an example of why it became positive. Okay, moving down. We're going to talk about some properties that can help us divide fractions. It says Brennan wonders if division has the same properties as multiplication. So he tries to some examples and makes conjectures, so ideas based off of those examples. What conjectures can he make? So conjectures is just kind of like assumptions. So 4 divided by 1/2. We're going to have a lot of side work. They didn't give us much room. So 4 over 1. Change division to multiplication, flip your second fraction. So 4 times 2 is 8, 1 times 1 is 1, so we get 8. 1/2 divided by 4, so that's 4 over 1. So we keep 1/2, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 4 is 8, so we get 1/8. So is division of rational numbers commutative? So can we switch the order and still get the same answer? No. When we switched the order, we got different answers. Next, we're going to try associative, which is when they just change where the parentheses are in the problem. So we have 4 divided by 1/2, so that's 4 over 1. So 4 over 1, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction to get 8 over 1, which we already knew. And then we're going to divide by a 4, so change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. 8 times 4 is 32. 1 times 1 is 1. 32 over 1 is 32. Okay, next, what is 4 divided by 1/2 divided by 1/4? Well, I already know 1/2 divided by 1/4 is 1/8 because I found that up here. So that's 4 over 1. 4 over 1, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. Oh, wait, I just messed things up, sorry. 1/2 divided by 1/4 is not the same as up there, so I'm sorry. I'm going to do 1/2, change the division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. We get 4 over 2, which is 2. This is away. And I'm going to take 4 over 1 divided by that. So 4 over 1, change division to multiplication, flip this, because that's what I had in parentheses, to get 4 over 2, which is 2. So we did not get the same answer, so we can't use the associative property for division. Next, what is 4 divided by 1/2 plus 1/4? So first, when I do 1/2 plus 1/4, I need a common denominator. I'm going to use 4. So I get 2 over 4 plus 1 over 4, which is 3 over 4. And then change it to 4 over 1. So you get 4 over 1, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction, which is 3/4, so that we get 16 over 3. And then they want to do 4 divided by 1/2 plus 4 divided by 1/4. So they are using the distributive property where they distribute the 4 through. So 4 divided by 1/2, that's 4 over 1. So actually I already know 4 divided by 1/2 is 8. And then I need 4 divided by 1/4, which I already found over here was also 8. So, oh, sorry, that was, I keep messing up, I'm sorry. 4 divided by 1/4 is not the same as over there. Okay, 4 over 1 times 4 over 1, that's 16. So 8 plus 16 is 24. We did not get the same answer, so no. Next, they're going to do kind of the opposite, where they're going to distribute this 1/4 through from the other side. So we have 4 plus 1/2, which is obviously 4.5. But I'm going to write that as an improper fraction, which is 9 over 2. Change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. So we get 36 over 2, which is 18. Then I have 4 divided by 1/4, which I know is 16. I found that right here. 1/2 divided by 1/4, which I found over here was 2. 16 plus 2 is 18. So that did work. So you can distribute, if you have something in parentheses with addition or subtraction, something on the outside that says divide by something, but that divide by something is on the right, then you can distribute that through and it's going to actually work. What is 0 divided by -3/2? Well, that's 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. So 0 divided by 7, 0. So you can do 0 divided by something. You cannot do this. You cannot do something divided by 0. So the 0 has to come first. Okay, next page. If 0 is divided by a non-zero number, the quotient is 0. So 0 divided by something is always 0. -2/5 divided by -2/5. Well, that's something divided by itself, which is 1. Anytime you take something divided by itself, that's 1. So 4.5 divided by 4.5 is 1. Any non-zero rational number divided by itself is 1. So any number divided by itself, 1. 3/4 divided by 1 is just 3/4. So if you divide by 1, you're just going to end up with what you started with. So -14 2/3 divided by 1 is -14 2/3. That should just be basic stuff that you already know. Any rational number divided by 1 is the same number or itself. Okay, moving down. Quotients of rational numbers can describe real world contexts. Be careful to choose the correct numbers for the dividend and the divisor, so make sure you put the numbers in the correct order. To make a doll, Lindsay uses 3/4 yard of material. How many dolls can she make from 8 1/4 yards of material? So they want us to circle options that are true. You want to find how many 3/4 links, because that's what we're going to be using to make the doll, there are in 8 1/4 yards. So we're figuring out how many sections of 3/4 yards can I get out of this total 8 1/4 yard. The best operation to solve this problem is division, because we are dividing it into sections or lengths. Lindsay can make, let's see, we're going to take 8 1/4 divided by 3/4. So 8 1/4 divided by 3/4. I'm going to change 8 1/4 into an improper fraction. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 1 is 33 over 4. Change division to multiplication, flip your second fraction. I actually like to cross multiply, so 4 and 4 reduce to 1 and 1. 3 and 33 reduces to 11 and 1. 11 times 1 is 11. 1 times 1 is 1. So we get, it's going to make 11 dolls. Use what you know about dividing rational numbers to find these quotients. So negative 21 over 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. It's a negative and a positive, which gives me a negative. 240 divided by 1/2. That's the same thing as 240 divided by 2, which we can divide pretty quickly. Oops. Okay, so we get 120. 15.5 divided by 3.1. So 15.5 goes on the inside, 3.1 goes on the outside, but you cannot have a decimal on the outside, so we're going to move this decimal over. But since we moved that over, we also have to move this one over. After I do that, I like to rewrite the problem so that it's neater. So I need to think 31 can't go into 1, can't go into 15. It does go into 155 exactly 5 times. It works out perfectly to get a remainder of 0. So the answer is 5. Okay, last page we're going to do together. Paul has 1 3/4 hours to complete 3 household tasks. If he divides the time equally, how many hours can he give to each task? So our total amount of time is 1 3/4. We're dividing it among 3 tasks, so that's our problem. 1 3/4 is 7 over 4. Change division to multiplication. This was 3 over 1, so I'm going to flip it to 1/3. So that's 7 over 12. So 7 over 12 hours. Write a division expression that's equivalent to 8/5 times negative 3/5. Well, normally we keep, change, flip. So let's do that again. So keep theta over 15, change multiplication to division, because that's what they want it to be written as, and switch or flip your second fraction. Since they had this in parentheses, I'm going to put it in parentheses 2, but they only have the parentheses there to tell you that it's negative. Okay, last one, number 3. In 13 1/3 seconds, Helena describes the speed of her car by 40 miles per hour, or decreased the speed of her car. What number represents the decrease in the speed of the car? Well, since it was decreasing 40 miles per hour, that's a negative 40 miles per hour. Will the speed per second be negative or positive? Explain how you know. Well, I just said it was negative. And the reason is because a negative number divided by a positive, because we would be dividing by a positive 13 1/3 seconds, has a negative quotient. So it's because we took this negative 40 miles per hour divided by the positive 13 1/3 seconds, which is what we're going to do right now to find the average. So negative 40, that's negative 40 over 1. Change division to multiplication. 13 1/3, that's 3 times 13 plus 1, which is 40 over 3. So I'm going to flip that. And this is a problem where it's good to do cross reduce. So negative 40 and 40 would be negative 1 and 1. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So the answer on the blank is negative 3 miles per second. That's it. So now you're going to do pages 99 through 101 on your own. If you have questions, let me know. And when you are done, just go ahead and put it where it goes in the classroom.